It's time now for Peter Channel 5 o'clock news on this Thursday evening, August 4th, 2016. Good evening, everybody. I am Peter Wiggins, and I have 5 o'clock news and on. Substrate at the 5 o'clock hour on this Thursday evening is an American woman from Florida was killed and 5 other people injured in a separate attack in London's Russell Square Bar. The Norwegian man of Somali origin was arrested after the incident. Whatever he set foot on stage with Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump is likely to find himself engaged in some sort of debate this fall. Well, his running mate. As the White House and Hillary Clinton face questions Thursday board and a $400 million cash payment to Iran earlier this year. There was a bit of shared incredulity and has become suddenly an issue to the presidential campaign. The 8-filled South Carolina man accused of slaughtering 9 worshipers inside a church last year was roughed up in jail this Thursday morning, an official said. Like a good bestie, Vice President Joe Biden knew he had something to do special for his pal, President Barack Obama, on the occasion of his 55th birthday. President Obama at the Pentagon for the ASL briefing. The Egyptian military said it has killed the head of the Sinai branch of the so-called Islamic State, along with dozens of fighters. Kabul, the Taliban new leader, is warning back some disaffected members of the insurgency, wages a new offensive in strategic Helmand province, that's close to the group defined U.S. Abu Muhammad al-Adani, as his propaganda chief and spokesman, has reportedly been named the intelligence unit dedicated to launch an attack abroad. Dame Lowell Goddard has written in the Home Secretary Amber Rudd to resign as the head of the independent inquiry into child sexual abuse. Mumbai, at least 22 people remain missing after a highway bridge collapsed near Mumbai, sending at least 2 buses and a car into the Savitri River. Okinawa, Japan. Japan's Supreme Court rejected a plea from former U.S. Marine Kenneth Franklin Shinzato, charged with killing the 20-year-old woman and moved to travel. Kathmandu, Nepal. Nepal's parliament elected Maoist and former rebel chief Pushpa Khanel Dahal as prime minister after President Ali resigned ahead in a no-confidence vote. New York, overcrowded Philippine jails popped today. Human crackdown on drug deals and users are causing a humanitarian crisis, Human Rights Watch said. Stockton, California Mayor Anthony Silva was arrested Thursday at his youth camp on charges that he played strip poker with minors and provided youngsters with alcohol, according to authorities. The public defender's office in Missouri said it's been overloaded for years, too many cases, too few attorneys, too little funding. A criminal cooperative and multiple mob families were crippled Thursday in the massive federal sweep that busted nearly 4 dozen mafiosos along the eastern coast. Baltimore and the president number of threats have been made against the Baltimore County Police Department after a fatal shooting occurred in Gaines on Monday. Washington, Homeland Secretary Jed Johnson said it is dominant discussion whether to classify polling stations across the country as critical infrastructure. Chicago, a judge appointed a special prosecutor to take a case against Chicago officers Justin Denduck for the fatal shooting of a 17-year-old Laquan McDonald. Daytona Beach, Florida. Donald Trump said he viewed since debunked Iranian government footage of $4 million cash up from the United States government. Washington, where the newly week-dated sensitive national convention in UPI voted daily presidential record poll shows Hillary Clinton cemented the lead. Philadelphia, a judge set a new trial date for Capitol Priest William J. Lynn, previously convicted of protected pedophile priest 2 days after he was released on bail. Mark Carney has looked at the road of the most adventurous that has been taken and decided it's not for him while unveiling the multi-part stimulus package aimed at saving out post-Brexit UK. Everyone dispatched a associate deal except Tesla's shareholders. Seaboard Florida Power beyond dropping attendance as company had reported an adjusted net income of $18 million in the second quarter, slightly lower than the $18.7 million reported in the previous year. Since Donald Trump announced canceling in June 2015, foot traffic at the Bennett hotels, casinos, and golf courses in the United States has stifled. Dearborn, Michigan, 49ers recall Thursday about nearly 30,000 vehicles due to defective latch domain caused the door to swing open and while the car is in motion. Washington, the Pentagon is withholding $300 million in military assistance to Pakistan over the concerns that the government isn't doing enough to stop militants. Falls Church, Virginia, Norfolk government has received a U.S. Navy contract to produce a second E-2D advanced Hawkeye aircraft to Japan that the company announced Wednesday. Rome, the Italian Coast Guard has ordered 2 more Leonardo Finamentia AW-139 helicopters the company announced Thursday. It's said that thunder like endless point of water surged across landscape of wave as tall as 30-story building would have been crashed over the banks of the Yellow River, demolished everything in its path. Dental floss may not appear yet, but what else can to do it? It's public health. Why, use of surgery is still popular. What do a Welsh mezzo-soprano castle in southwestern England and a eclectic career in Los Angeles have in common? They all learned and teamed up recently for a music performance that according to creative represents the first computer. One day after U.S. health officials now started clinical test for Zika vaccine in humans, researchers reported in the journal Science that 3 different types of vaccines designed to block the virus and all work to perfection. Zika was warning the local health officials long before Florida enacted the nation's first local transmission from an infected mosquito in late July. When you get your tonsils removed, all you can think about is the unlimited ice cream that's coming to you in your future. Now, for women that are something else, think about spiked fertility rates. Black men and women of a sickle cell trait do nothing anymore of an increased risk of premature death than those without the trait but who have other risk factors including obesity, older age, and history smoking at a new study American servicemen said. Paul Maine, a group of protesters at Donald Trump's rally here on Thursday, stood up silently during the Republican nominee speech and held up pocket copies of the Constitution. There are few presidentially conjured in a more potent imagery than the Harvard Republican Club faced with about 80s movies have taught us translates in a group of 5 to 10 guys standing in front of large fire pits. Representative Anthony Kitchener from Illinois said he would no longer back Donald Trump. Plainville, when it comes to earning money with a pen, paint. Plainville's Jeff Kinney in the top echelon. Forbes magazine recently ranked the Whip Kid offer as a world's second highest paid offer, where they taken $19.5 million past year ahead of Harry Potter winner J.K. Rowling $19 million. Kinney's still rebound James Smith passed with it $95 million, however. Kinney, who operates an electric story bookstore in town, told an interview from Forbes that the store is doing pretty well ahead of the projections. Offers for the best paid list include John Christian at number 4 with $18 million and Stephen King fifth with $15 million. Boston, President Obama says his family are beginning its 7th and final vacation in Martha's Vineyard as first family. The Obamas are officially arriving Saturday to start a 2-week vacation. The family has summoned every August and famous resort island of Cape Cod in Massachusetts. Obama took office in 2009, except in 2012 when he was campaigning for re-election. Boston, both sides in the chartered school debate are hidden the airways in an effort to sway voters before Election Day. Alright, take a look at the closing stock market and commodity report. The Dow fell 2.95 at 18.04.05. SP 500 up 46 cents at 2,164.25. At Nasdaq up 6.51 points at 5,166.25. European markets, DAX 57.65 points up at 10,227.86. FTSE up 105.76 at 6,740.16. CAC up 24.55 at 4,345 at 63. Asian markets. Nikkei 171.78. Up at 16,254.89. Shanghai up 4.19 at 2,092.65. And HSI 92.11 points up at 21,832.23. Oil markets. 90 cents up at 41.81. Brent 44.16 up $1.06. And natural gas down 16,000.2.823. Gold markets. Up 3.20 at 13,600.90. Silver 20.39 down 81,000 point. Copper 2.174 down 245,000 point. Bonds. US 10 year 1.5025% down 39,000 point. Bond 10 year 0.094% up 3,000 point. And Germany's 10 year 0.084% up 7,000 point. And EFX bonds. European US dollar 1.1127 down 1,000 point. US dollar Japanese yen 101.21 up 100 point. And Great Britain pound US dollar 1.3105 up 2,000 point. Alright, looking at commodities. The wheat down 6 3/4 at 403 1/2. Soybean 9.55 1/4 down 1/4. Corn 3 3 down 4 1/4. Sugar 9.79 up 75 cents. Coffee 141.95 up $1.55. Cotton 75.82 up $1.53. Red rice 9.345 down 20 cents. And cocoa 2,997 up 4. Live cattle 142.55 down 65 cents. Lean ounce 58.525 down 975,000 point. And FT cattle 147.375 down 10 cents. Peter Joe News on 509 on this Thursday, 18 and it's time now for a spot support. Tonight, the Boston Red Sox will look to gain a split of this 4-game series against the Seattle Mariners at 10:10 p.m. out in Seattle, which is 7:10 p.m. their time. Cleveland Indians over the Minnesota Twins 9-2. Tampa Bay Rays edge to the Kansas City Royals 3-2. Cincinnati Reds over the St. Louis Cardinals 7-0, and the San Francisco Giants over the Philadelphia Phillies 3-2. And the Red Sox want to breathe a sigh of relief because the Chicago White Sox defeat the Detroit Tigers 6-3. The Russian Olympic team believes there are between 265 and 270 athletes have been cleaned to compete in Rio Olympic team spokesman said. Kevin Burns about to put a crack in the cuisine to understand this, but Russia Westbrook has committed himself to securing it. Tom Brady can celebrate 39th birthday with extra work. Despite the almost daily tales of cannibalism and corruption, the International Olympic Committee and the organizer of Rio 2016 Games computer system will be a success in one very narrow sense. They are correct, but between the opening games. The start of the Olympics of Rio this week have been shadowed by a storm of bad news, not including a secret outbreak that prompted 150 health officials to recommend moving the games out of the city as a public safety measure. Demonstrations about. IOC has 5 new sports for the games for Tokyo for 2020. Peter Channel News Time, 5:11 on this Thursday evening, and it's time now for a extravagant transit report. Let's study off down on the MBTA transit, where the MBTA subway system is looking good, and on the commuter rail and on the ferries, they are all looking good. Alright, take a look at the highways and byways of New England. Highways and byways, New York City are slow go. Let's start in Connecticut with 95 on the northbound side is backed up from Greenwich all the way down to Bridgeport. 95 on the southbound side is backed up from Stamford all the way out to Greenwich. Merritt Parkway eastbound side is backed up from Greenwich all the way out to New Haven, so it's a big backup on the Merritt Parkway and 15. Merritt Parkway and southbound side is backed up Hampton stretch to the Nitbreadskin and Stamford stretch. 95 on the northbound side, it is backed up from Greenwich all the way out to Bridgeport. 95 on the southbound side is backed up from Stamford all the way out to 287. 95 on the northbound side is backed up to New Haven stretch. 95 on the southbound side is backed up from Guilford all the way to New Haven. 95 on the northbound side is backed up from Guilford all the way out to Old Saybrook. 95 on the southbound side is backed up to New London Old Saybrook. 91 on the northbound side is backed up around 691 out in Meriden. 84 eastbound side is back to Ridgefield all the way to Newtown, Connecticut, hit Briskin and Waterbury stretch. 84 on both ends also from West Hartford to downtown Hartford. 91 on both ends also from Route 2 to Route 84 in downtown Hartford, Connecticut. Mass Banking in the westbound side is back to after 91 in Chicopee. 91 on the southbound side is back to 291 to 57 in Springfield. 95 on the southbound side is sold from New London Old Saybrook. 299 on the westbound side, it is backed up from 190 in Worcester all the way to Route 9. Down in Rhode Island, 146 on the northbound side, it is backed up around Route 99 in Lincoln, Rhode Island. 295 on the southbound side is backed up from 44 in Smithfield all the way out to Cranston. 295 on the northbound side is backed up from Warwick to Cranston. 95 on the southbound side, it is backed up from Warwick all the way out to Coventry. Route 130 on the westbound side, it is backed up around Route 1 in Narragansett. 95 on the northbound side is backed up from Warwick all the way to downtown Providence. 95 on the southbound side is backed up from Kentucky to downtown Providence. 146 is backed up from 15 to 95 in Providence. 185 on the westbound side is backed up to Providence stretch. 140 on the southbound side is backed up 195. 140 in the Bedford. 195 on the eastbound side is backed up to the Fall River stretch. 95 on the southbound side is slow after the 120 up in Canton. And it again from 495 to Route 295 down in the Amber stretch. 495 on the southbound side is slow around Route 24 in Raynham. 24 on the southbound side is backed up from 44 in Raynham all the way up to 24 in Raynham. To the 495 to 44 is backed up on Route 24 in Raynham. Route 44 on the westbound side is backed up around 105 in Plymouth. Route 6 on the back up from New Orleans and then stretch and then Mexican then a stretch. 25 on the eastbound side it is backed up around Buzzards Bay. 24 southbound side is backed up from 128 in Kenton all the way down through Raynham on 44. Route 3 on both ends also from Braintree split to Weymouth and then Mexican from Marshfield area to Plymouth. 128 on the southbound side is slow from Route 3 in Broughton all the way to the Braintree split. 120 on the northbound side is back to the Braintree split all the way out to 24 out in Randolph. Service Expressway, southbound side is back to the Pack Orient to the Braintree split. Service Expressway, northbound side it's backed up from Quincy out into the Mass Pack and Mass Pack on the eastbound side it's backed up for Austin Bratton tolls all the way at the Logan Airport. Mass Pack westbound side is backed up for Austin Bratton all the way out to Framingham. 120 on the northbound side is back to 20 Waltham all the way out to Salem. 93 in both ends of downtown Boston and Sogo. 93 in southbound side over Zangbridge, Boston all the way to Somerville. 93 in northbound side back from Zangbridge, Boston all the way to Route 120 Redden. And then hit breaks again from Wilmington all the way up to Lawrence. 120 southbound side back to the Beverly to Salem stretch. Route 3 to the northbound side backed up for the Braintree split from Route 128 in Burlington all the way up to Westford. 495 on the southbound side, it is slow from 290 in Marlborough to Mathpike in Westboro. And 495 at both ends, it is slow from still all the way at the launch due to that accident down in Littleton that resulted in a fatality, unfortunately. And 495 on the northbound side back to Belance up to Haverhill. Let's tell you up in Northern New England, where 93 on the northbound side back to around Concord Stretch, 101 on the westbound side, so from Kenya all the way to Manchester, 101 on the eastbound side is backed up for the Manchester Stretch. 293 on the westbound side back to the Manchester Stretch, spotted trip out on the northbound side back to 95, Portsmouth all the way up to Route 4 in Durham, New Hampshire. Route 3 on the northbound side back to the Nashville Stretch. 93 on the northbound side back to the Salem, New Hampshire Stretch. Up in Maine, 95 on the main trip out on the northbound side back to from 295 in the South Portland Stretch. 295 in the eastbound side back to from South Portland to Portland. Route 1 in the southbound side back to the Brunswick Stretch. And 89 and 91 in the southbound side back to after the Canadian up in Vermont. And 87 in the back to around Route 11 in Plattsburgh, New York, just before the Canadian border. And on Route 59 in the northbound side backed up after the Canadian border up in southern Quebec headed towards Montreal. 87 in the south northbound side backed up from the Thruway all the way up to 787 in Albany. 3 on the westbound side backed up from Albany down to Schenectady. And 787 in the northbound side backed up after 3 up in Albany. Peter Channel News on 516, and it is Tornado for a weather report. And our current conditions here in Norton. What a glorious Thursday we had. I went out mini golf and it was a picture perfect day for any outdoor activity with low humidity, but enjoy it while you can, because Friday and Saturday humidity is gonna go up and the dew point's gonna go up. Alright, current conditions in Norton, it's 82 degrees with a humidity of 52%, dew point about 63 degrees, barometer is 3.05, and it's falling slowly and wind speed is calm. Alright, take a look at current conditions around in the region. It is 80 degrees in Logan and Boston, 81 in Beverly and Gloucester, it's 87 in Fitchburg and Concord, it's 80 in Worcester, it's 87 degrees in Norwood, 82 in Taunton, 79 in Bedford, it's 81 in Plymouth, it's 80 Provincetown, 77 in Falmouth, 74 in Chatham, 73 in Martha's it's 69 out in Nantucket, it's 78 out in Providence, it's 81 out in Providence, 78 in Quonset, 73 in Block Island, 75 in Montauk, 79 in Elizabeth, 86 in New York City, 81 in Bridgeport and New Haven and Denver and Waterbury, Connecticut, 84 in Meriden, 85 in Winslow and Hartford, Connecticut, 84 in Springfield, it's 82 in up in Orange, Massachusetts, and up in North Massachusetts, 80 in Pittsfield, Mass, 84 in Albany and Silver Springs, 82 in Rutland and Bennington and Brown, Vermont, 84 in Lebanon, New Hampshire, it's 83 in Keene, Hampshire, 82 in Jefferson, New Hampshire, 85 in Laconia, New Hampshire, 88 in Concord, New Hampshire, 86 in Manchester and Natchez, New Hampshire, 81 up in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, 78 degrees up in Portland, Maine. Alright, take a look at our surface map around the country, and it shows a station front from Nevada, stretching all the way down to Nebraska, station front for Tennessee, down through the Carolinas, followed by with a low pressure searching from Kansas all the way down from Mexico, followed by from Southern California down through the Bahamas, and low pressure up in the Northern California, followed by from Oregon down for California. And high pressure ridges up in the western Montana, eastern Texas, and up in the northeastern corridor. Alright. Looking at temps around the region, it's 85 in Washington, D.C., 83 in Atlanta, 89 in Miami, 90 in Chicago, 85 in Minneapolis, 97 in Kansas City, 100 in Dallas, 95 in Brownsville, 88 in Albuquerque, 72 in Denver, 89 in Salt Lake City, 67 in San Francisco, 76 in LA, 78 in Great Falls, and 80 degrees out in Seattle, Washington. Alright, take a look at the radar picture around the region. It's showing some clusters of rain showers. We're going to zoom you in, seeing some clusters of rain showers from eastern Quebec, stretching into New Brunswick, and making its way up to northern Maine. And give you a closer look at the rain showers, and it's showing some patchy patches of rain showers around the Moosehead Lake region, and patchy showers and thunderstorms between Millinocket and Holton, and patchy rain showers around the extreme northern Moosehead Lake region of Maine and some patchy showers and storms east of Woodstock, New Brunswick, Canada. And looking at radar around the country, and it shows clusters of showers and thunderstorms stretching from Ohio, stretching all the way down in Gulf states, and down in Florida, down for southern Texas. Monsoonal type of rain stretching from eastern California, down for Nevada, down for four-quarter region, and stretching on southwestern Kansas, down for northern Oklahoma, and up in the northern portions of Texas. And then clusters of showers and storms from Nebraska, down for Iowa, down for southern Minnesota, down for west central Wisconsin. Then a cloud stretching from western Ontario, down for southern Manitoba, and a line of clouds from western Saskatchewan up to Alberta, and for southeastern portions of British Columbia. Alright, let's take a look at satellite loop, and it shows a lot of clouds coming in much of the southeastern corner of the country, stretching out to sea. A lot of clouds coming in much of Arkansas, and down for southern Indiana, and down for Kentucky, down to Tennessee, western Carolinas, and a lot of clouds from the four-quarter region, down for southern Nevada, down for California, and a lot of clouds from southeastern Minnesota and Iowa, up into Wisconsin, and up into Ontario, and down for eastern portions of Manitoba, and a lot of clouds from southern Saskatchewan, down for Alberta, down for British Columbia. And water temperature 71 degrees. Alright, let's look at the latest on Earl. And speaking of the monsoon rains, Las Vegas, Nevada had a severe thunderstorm warning just last night. Alright, the latest on Tropical Storm Earl. Center location 17.6 to the north, 90.8 to the west. Max sustained winds about 40 miles an hour, movement west at 10 miles an hour. Alright, take a look at the latest public advisory at 5 p.m. for Earl. Earl still heavy rainfall threatened this weekend. There'll be a no close watch toward the effects and interest along the southern bay of Campeche. Should monitor the progress of Earl. At 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time, the center of Tropical Storm Earl was located in inland over northwest Guatemala near latitude 17.6 to the north. Longitude 9.8 to the west. Earl is moving toward the west near 10 miles an hour, and its motion expected to continue. Friday tonight, a turn toward the west-northwest is forecast on Friday. On the forecast track, this Earl will be continue moving in the southeast Mexico tonight, and will move near the coast along the extreme southern bay of Campeche on Friday, and maximum sustained winds have decreased near 40 miles an hour with high gust initial weakening is forecasted to expected to weaken into a tropical depression tonight. Top zone force winds are set outwards up to 35 miles from the center. SA minimum set pressure is 999 millibars. Okay, for winds, tropical storm conditions should continue for the next few hours in a small area near the center as it moves throughout the portions of the northeast western Guatemala and in the southeastern Mexico. And rainfall Earl is expected to be producing total rainfall accumulation of 8 to 12 inches over the portions of the Belize, Guatemala, and the Mexican states of Campeche, Chiapas, Quintana Roo, Tabasco, Veracruz. Friday morning, the isolated maximum amounts of 18 inches are possible in the Belize, northern Guatemala, and the central part of the Mexican state of Chiapas. This rains could result in flat-footed and flash floods and mudslides. Alright, forecast discussion. High pressure will bring dry and seasonally warm weather with low humidity for Friday. A cold front with a sweep south. New England on Saturday, there are strong distributed thunderstorms are possible. High pressure falls with a seasonally dry and clearly dry Tuesday. And never cold for the potential weather sweep for the week. Wednesday followed by a double bottom high pressure for the remainder of the week. High pressure will control with clear skies and light winds. The temperature will fall quickly after sunset. The lows mostly in the 50s in the light areas, with readings holding under the lower 60s in urban areas. Petrobras may develop late to the typically prone location with highest risk of the lower Connecticut Valley. And look at that weather notes. Boston is rainfall is 18.38 inches. That's 7.1 below the normal year. And Worcester is at 20.32 inches, which is 7.7 inches below the normal year rainfall. And so far for the July rainfall, Boston 400ths of an inch and Worcester 800ths of an inch. We have severe drought from Boston to Springfield and southern New Hampshire and Maine. And only chance to see rainfall 6%. And Friday and Saturday will be muggy, and Sunday, Monday back to comfortable levels. Alright, I'm expected to tonight supposed to be 56 to 64 degrees, and tomorrow's highs 83 to 90 degrees. Alright, let's take a look at our 7-day forecast. It goes like this. For tonight, we're going to have some mostly coast clouds, about 54 degrees, south about 5 to 10 miles coming back southwest of the mid-out. So you got a outdoor plans, you're good to go. For Friday, it says kind of about 86 degrees coming south on 5 to 9 miles in the morning. For Friday night, increase kind of about 64 degrees, southwest about 69 miles south. So we've got after activities like the Buck game tomorrow night, you're going to have some good weather in store. For Saturday, check your shot south, so it's May after 70 and most of the guys got about 85 degrees, southwest around 7 to 10 miles an hour. When gusts inside 20 miles an hour, just make sure it's 50%, new rain from miles between the 10 quarter to 10 miles, multiple thunderstorms. For Saturday night, a slight change of showers before 11 p.m. Forecast got about 64 degrees and south of its spot. 7 to 9 miles per northwest of the midnight. Just make sure it's 20%. For Sunday, Sunday most schools got 84 about 61 degrees. Monday, Sunday most schools got 83 about 58 degrees. For Tuesday, Sunday most schools got 87 about 64 degrees. And for Wednesday, most Sunday podcasts are 86 about 68 degrees. And for Thursday, most of us got about 90 degrees. Curly not here. Peter's weather for the rain today. Terrific Thursday and a fantastic Friday attempt with all humidity. Peter Wednesday, have a good evening. Goodbye, teachers. See you at 10 o'clock for a Peter Channel late night 10 o'clock news report on this Thursday evening. Have a good evening.